It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's NewOrleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, if they just got out of a limo or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you. Because that's New Orleans and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar today, we're at the fabulous Wayfair on Ferret Street, which is a couple of blocks down from Napoleon Avenue on the left-hand side heading toward Jefferson. And if you come past here on a weekday and stop in between 3 and 7 p.m., they have a half-priced happy hour for 4 hours every single day and an awesome brunch on the weekends. They have totally half-priced food as well during the week. Or you can just stick around here for the next hour and spend happy hour with us. Happy Hour today is brought to us by Strategic Resumes. If you want to sharpen up your resume or your LinkedIn profile or other job search skills, check them out at Strategic Resumes. And thank you too to Travel Central in Metairie. If you want to get away, start your travel search at Travel Central in Metairie. Basic Swimming Gym has a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout and yoga clothes with style. They're right next to the lingerie store Basics underneath on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. And thank you to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. You know, no one's thinking about getting a hangover today, correct? Yes.
I don't know,
Considering
maybe.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
well then go to Hangover Destroyer's website, agedestroyer.com, and write the words Happy Hour on the coupon code and get 30% off of your first order. And thank you to the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who create and encourage community through the development and preservation of arts, music, culture and heritage. If you'd like to be a member of our Patreon family, you can go to patreon.com and search for It's New Orleans Happy Hour. For as little as $1 a month, you too can be a part of our Happy Hour family and get all kinds of perks. And Andrew Duhon is not here today. He's on the road. If you'd like to find him, go to andrewduhon.com and see if he's in a town near you, where he's out on the road playing songs off his new record, False River, which is totally worth getting a hold of wherever you steal music from. Go listen to Andrew Duhon's False River. Talking of music, PH Fred is back on the show again. PH Fred, good to see you. Haven't seen you for 6 months.
Good to be seen, Squire.
Nice to see you. And last time, well, a couple of times ago you were here, you had a brain tumor.
It was a tumor near my brain. It wasn't
It wasn't actually in your brain eventually. It was removed from your head.
removed from my head. It was a head tumor.
Where exactly was it in your head?
It was in my sinus cavity.
Was a tumor in a sinus cavity, and it was causing
Me to lose my memory.
Well, you remembered that much.
Yes, I
So
did.
good news for that.
Got a tattoo.
So now
behind
we've
me.
got some very big news about PH Fred to share with everybody today, but we'll get to that in a minute. Margie Perez is here as well. Hi, Margie.
Hi.
How nice to meet you.
Likewise.
I've seen you on so many stages and so many guises. So it's great to have you, and you've brought a special friend with you.
I have.
Billy Franklin is here with his guitar.
Hello.
Hello, Billy. Now, what sort of a guitar is this?
What sort of guitar?
It looks nice.
It's a G&L, but it's basically a Fender Stratocaster for all intents and purposes.
Do you want to play a little bit?
Yeah, but I'm not mic'd up.
You're not mic'd up right now.
Nope.
I think we could probably still hear it.
Do it anyway?
Yeah. Now that's delightful, isn't it? I like it. Okay, you can play all you want. So, and also, now here's the story about Charisse. Charisse Harrison Nelson. Do you know her?
I do. She's my neighbor.
She's your neighbor? Okay, well, you could have brought her with you here, and then she would be here.
Had I known,
Yeah.
I didn't know
So you
until
guys
I
aren't
looked
talking
at the
all that
Facebook
much.
page
Right.
and saw that
Have
she
you
was going to be a guest.
Have you seen her today?
I have not, but I probably should have knocked
If you
on
kept
her
an
door
eye out
as
for
I
her, then
was
maybe
leaving.
you could have brought her with you because she's not here. So maybe she'll show up. Instead, Sarah is here.
Hey there.
Sarah, what is your other name, just so we can give you a proper introduction?
My name is Sarah.
Do you just go by one name, like Cher or Prince?
I go by Sarah.
Sarah.
No,
Yes.
people call me Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah, just short.
How do we, just S-A-R?
Just SAR.
Okay. Oh, shit, what was that? Whoa, Jill, our photographer, just stepped on something. Was it anything? Oh, it was just the clock.
It was a happy accident.
Hey, look, it's upside down. That's no problem. Okay, so Sarah, where did you come up with the idea of calling yourself Sarah?
Well, people made it short as my name. People called me Sarah Bear when I was growing up.
Sarah Bear.
I have a friend that calls me Sriracha,
Okay.
like the hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I'm from New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay. And they called you Sarah Bear.
It was more like a family thing, and then like when I got older, people just kind of shortened it to Sarah.
To Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just go with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Glad
you.
you can shake my hand if you like.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so you know all these people, right? There's Billy, Margie, and PH
Yeah,
Fred.
we just met.
So here's the big story about PH Fred. Look, he had a brain tumor, Sarah.
It was not
wow.
a brain
You go-
tumor.
Oh,
It
you
was
didn't
a
have a
tumor in
brain
my
tumor.
head.
Head tumor.
Head tumor.
Head tumor.
What is a technical term? What was it actually called?
It
Talking to the microphone, Fred.
was called a It was actually a papilloma.
A papilloma.
It was.
That doesn't sound that impressive.
But
Papilloma's like a fatty.
It was like, yeah.
My dog had
It's
a
a papilloma, yeah. But I had a papilloma growing in my head.
That's in Spain.
Yes.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
That's the
papilloma in Spain.
running of the bulls.
Yeah.
Is a papilloma. Exactly.
And this whole
So
story
they-
could just be running bulls.
So they took it out of your head, and now
Took
you're
him 2 surgeries. It was 3 inches by 2 inches.
3 inches by 2 inches.
Yes.
It's pretty large.
It's
Can
pretty
you,
large.
Can you remember to talk into a
I
microphone?
shall talk into the microphone. It reminds me of my papilloma, 3 inches by 2 inches.
You call that 3 inches?
I-
Okay,
I-
so what happened to it?
They removed
But
it.
where is it now?
They wouldn't give it to me. Really?
Did you ask for it?
Yes.
Well,
They won't. They can't give you parts of your body.
They're
after
not
they take
allowed to.
mine.
Well, I
They're
don't know
not
what's
allowed
wrong
to.
with you. Why you can't talk into a
I'm
microphone.
talking into the microphone
So
just to piss you off.
that's so they won't give you your own body part in
No,
the
they
hospital.
won't. They can't.
Is that right?
That's right.
Billy, are you an attorney or anything like that?
No, not anymore.
A lot of guys who play guitar do other things. Do you do anything else?
Nope.
That's it.
I mean, I play bass.
So
But
you
if you're
can-
asking if I do anything but music, no.
No, so you can make a full-time living in New Orleans playing various stringed
He didn't
instruments.
say he
I
was
do.
living.
Yeah.
That's impressive because most
Thank you.
people who come on the show have some other thing that they do.
I did for a long time.
What was
but,
that? Woodworking?
I actually do woodworking, but never for a living. I was a bartender for a long time and did worked in a lot of the higher end restaurants and stuff like that.
You did? Which ones?
Most of the Susan Spicer places and Besh places were my main 2 families or restaurants
So
that I.
is there any sort of like stratification or hierarchy among waiters? Because I always wonder about that. People who work like here, you can only make so much money because it's only like whatever it is, an entree. But then you go to Bayona and it's $35 for a piece of fish.
Well, yes. I mean, there's also those places tend to have more people serving each table, so they get split more ways. But yes, you definitely tend to make more money at a higher
do make
priced
more now.
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like a career server at some of the places in town can make well over $100,000 a year.
Is that right? Sarah, did you hear that?
Under the table.
Yeah. I waitress for a hot sack at Superior.
At Superior.
Yeah, you make good money
You make
there.
money
I
You
waitressed
do.
for hot sex once. Right?
Hot sack, hot sack.
You can make 100. Imagine
I
you
said
paying
you
attention
said
here. You can make
Well, I-
$100,000.
I make
a year.
$100,000 a year as a teacher.
Some career
so there-
waiters do.
As a teacher.
As a
As a
teacher.
waiter, though, but that's a lot of responsibility. You've got children's lives, and you have to
Yes.
have kids.
I don't have to have kids.
You have to deal with kids.
I
every
have to
single
deal
day.
with kids, yes.
This is just delivering food to a table.
You
I
can
like
poison
this.
them.
How many kids are you tutoring?
Right now, about 100,
100.
I think.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Could
a
be the
lot.
tumor talking.
That's not true, surely, is it?
Could be the tumor talking.
100 kids.
I'm tutoring some even while we're here.
We don't even know where the tumor is.
It's in a garbage can somewhere behind Turo in a dumpster.
Unless it's still picking up vibes from you somehow.
It is.
Okay, so you have 100 kids at your tutor. So Fred also, apart from being crazy and having a tumor and being a songwriter, also is kind of a genius, although it's hard to discern
Imagine,
that.
yes,
It's hard
yes.
to discern that initially. But he created an app called the Freducator,
Yes, the Frigidator.
which sounds like a complete joke, but actually it can increase your SAT or ACT score
By like,
for $4.99.
it increased scores from 20s to 30s. A 50% jump in score.
How's it do that?
By Freducate them.
By Freducating?
By Freducation.
Yeah, what is the actual...
Well, the thing is, I figured out how the test works, and there's certain things that, like, for example, in school, 257 punctuation rules, there's only 10 on the test. So I teach the kids the red zone. That's basically what I do.
See, he's kind of a genius. He's figured out how the SAT works. He's like a hacker.
Yeah, I
He's
have the
hacked
hacks
the
for all the.
SAT.
I do everything from the GRE, the GED, the PSAT, SAT, ACT, the LSAT, the MCAT, even the dentistry exam once, which is kind of like playing Tetris.
But what happened to your app? Because last time you came on here,
There's
some
legal
kind of
there's
litigation over the
litigation
app.
still. Yeah.
So you're only smart up to a point. You weren't smart
No,
enough to
no,
have
I'm
a-
just keeping it to myself now.
Is it back on the
No, it's
App
not.
Store or
Nope,
anything?
it's MIA. But I'm
Okay.
still teaching. I have students in 10 states
All right.
right now.
You're still for educating.
I'm still for
Yeah.
educating, even as we
Okay.
speak.
Okay.
Just today, I'm going to do it with
So,
alcohol inside.
Anyway, listen up here, guys. I've got this list off PH Fred's website, which I just printed off. This list. It's a list of 1,000 songs, titles.
1,001.
1,001 song titles
that I've written since January 1st of this year.
this year.
Wow.
Okay, and today we're recording the show on September the, what is it, 12th?
12.
12, yeah.
So you've written 1,000 songs in how many days is that?
1,010 songs in a little, I don't know. Make me do math.
Well, you're the genius. How many days in
9, 8 months.
30 days of September?
Do you remember them all?
No.
Well, that's what we're going to find out.
I'm willing to bet it's about 245 days into the year.
245 days.
He looked
You've
it up.
written 1,000 songs.
No, I'm willing to bet.
How many songs is that? It's about 4 songs a day you've written.
Yeah, well, some days are 100. If I'm having a good fight with somebody, I can get 100 songs out in a day.
You can write 100 songs in a day.
Yes.
Wow.
While driving.
None of this is true.
And
but-
eating a stuffed
okay,
artichoke.
so anyway, so I've got this list here.
Into your head.
Okay, so here's my idea. Here's my
No,
idea.
you're not picking a number.
Yeah.
You are not
so,
picking a number.
Billy, you can go. What about Sarah going
All right.
first? So you pick a number between 1 and 1,001.
Pick a number.
980.
980.
Oh, I hate
I'll
980.
tell
That's,
you what
I'm
it
going
is.
to cry.
It's the worst
That
one.
was a sad song.
980 is called She Said She Likes the Water.
All right.
How does that go?
I don't have my guitar because the
What's
cameraman's
right here?
there. But I think it goes like this.
Okay. You only have to, just don't do the whole song. Just do this like...
I'm just the best part.
Yeah.
It's in a minor key because it's sad.
900.
She said she liked the water, but she didn't know how to swim.
Nice.
See, she drowns. That's the implied
Oh, she
metaphor
Okay.
there. Yeah.
She drowns.
She
It's
didn't know how to
beautiful.
swim
Ah,
in the
okay.
water.
All right. Do you want to try what? Margie, you want to try one quickly before we move on?
Well, I got to
1,000.
go with my favorite number, 69.
69 is your favorite number. We're going to get to that in a minute.
Oh, my
Okay.
goodness.
The song
made that
title,
last one up.
do you remember the title of them by number?
No, I have no fucking clue.
69 is Plays with Others in a Well.
Of course,
What?
that would be 69.
Plays with Others in a Well.
Oh, it's about the kid who fell down the well and they played with other kids in the well.
Do you remember how it goes?
No fucking clue.
No idea.
No idea.
Sorry about that, Margie.
I'm
No.
sorry.
To let you down.
But I'm going to play song 1,000 later from beginning to end.
Okay.
I promise.
Billy, you can get one more, and then we're going to move on from the subject. Pick a number.
7-Eleven.
711. Oh, that's an interesting choice,
It is.
too.
It is.
Okay, let me look up number 711.
See, I wasn't knowing I was getting shanghaied into this, Grant Morris.
Or
If that is indeed your name.
why do you have why do you have this on your website if you want?
Because nobody goes to the website.
711 song 711 is called "What the Hell Boutique Motel." It's got a rhyme
Alright.
in
I
the
like that
title.
rhyme, yeah.
Sounds promising.
It
You
does.
can play along with this, Billy, if you like.
What the hell, boutique motel? $75 for some water. I heard that the boutique motel keeps going on from there.
Okay, well,
jazzy. It's
pretty
jazzy,
nice.
though. It's
Pretty nice. Nice job, Billy, as well.
So I brought him along. He's a
Yeah,
plant in the audience.
I like that.
What
Well,
boutique motel was that written about?
It wasn't any in particular, but it might have been the Ace because one of my friends plays there.
I don't know why you can't talk
That's
into
a
a
segue.
microphone, Fred. I really am mystified by that.
I'm scared of penises.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
When's the last time you had the one that close
Never
to your
mind.
mouth?
Never mind.
I wonder what that phobia is called.
Oh, my
Well,
God.
Well, you brought it up, in a manner of speaking.
Okay. See, it keeps turning it keeps going to the side. Anyway, I think you have other guests you must talk to.
You want to move on from the
Yes,
penis
please. Yes.
conversation? All right.
Yes.
Okay, well, talking about styles of music, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, Margie, was you're in all these different bands. Mm-hmm. How many different bands are you in? And they're all completely different.
I've kind of lost count. I've got there's my band. Like anytime you see Margie Perez listed anywhere, it's usually my band where I play my originals and some fun covers and stuff. We do every other Monday night at 3090 on Frenchman Street from 5 to 9. And but I also have
Say that again, every other Monday.
every other Monday.
When do we start counting?
Let's see. It would
These are odd
be
Mondays.
not this Monday, but
We just did it this week, so 2 weeks from this
yeah,
last
2
Monday.
weeks from the
Oh,
10th.
it's very difficult. People listen to these podcasts.
24th,
24th.
24th, yes.
How would we know whether it's an odd Monday or
because it's the 24th.
who plays on the
That's
other Monday?
September.
That's
That's
I
a
think
mystery.
The Dapper
Sharice
Dandies, I think.
Harrison.
But yeah. Oh well, no. But but
That's why she's not
Yeah,
here.
you can actually if you go to either margieperez.com or to my Facebook page, I have all my gigs listed
Okay.
on my
So
cover
every
page.
other Monday is
At 3090 with my I like to call them my funky boy band because I
Okay.
haven't come up with a name for them yet.
you don't have a name.
And that-
Is Billy in it?
But it describes them so well.
Funky boy band.
Yeah.
All right.
They're funky
That's-
men.
that's
but
a pretty good
it just
name.
It's
rolls
better
off
than
the
the
tongue
cute
better
guys.
than boy
It's
band.
better than the cute guys.
Yes,
That's
yes.
Amanda Shaw's
Amanda Shaw.
We're actually an
everybody
Amanda
took
Shaw
that one.
cover band. We're a
Exactly.
tribute, we're a tribute band.
Exactly. That's funny. I taught her. Just saying.
You taught her what?
How to study.
Did she pass everything?
Yeah.
So what
So
does she
she
do
was
now?
She's a
besides-
musician.
Yeah, I know.
Full time.
She was a little kid when she started.
Great job, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she waiting tables at Bayona?
No, she's a musician full time.
Well, what did you teach her then?
How to study and how to get out of school.
Right. So
'Cause
she
school's a joke.
graduated from school.
She matriculated
Where did she live?
in a house.
I thought she was in Lafayette or somewhere. She's
no,
from
she's
here?
she's from the North Shore.
Is that right? Well, I never
Yes.
knew that. Okay. Anyway, so that's every other Monday. What about Tuesday?
Well, it depends on the Tuesday. But I have a Latin band called Muévelo.
Right.
And we play the third Saturday of every month at the Ace Hotel.
Oh,
at
geez,
the
this
Three
is
Keys.
very hard to keep in track now. The third set. Do you have like a manager or something?
No, I am my
You're it.
manager.
So you gotta keep
my
track of all
booking
these
agent,
dates.
my therapist. I am
Right.
all the above.
Okay.
And the therapy's going well. But
How are you feeling about that? Okay, so you're booking all these gigs.
yeah.
Okay, so why don't you book yourself more often? Why every third?
Well, that's what they give us,
And that's at the Ace
And
Hotel.
yeah. Mhm.
That's a great gig.
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we
And
have
that-
a dance class
And that's
from 9 to 10.
Muévelo.
And
Ah,
Muévelo. Uh-huh.
Okay, so
That
that's
means
Cuban.
Move it in Spanish.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're not Cuban, but your parents were Cuban.
Yeah, my parents are Cuban.
And you were born in D.C.
That kind of makes me.
Because I heard a whole. Does it really?
Yeah.
Cuban American.
Yeah,
So
That's
the
how that
thing.
works usually.
That's how that works in the United States.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Really?
Yeah.
People want to hold on to their nationality here a lot. What do you think that's about?
Well, I think. I don't really know, because there was a generation there where nobody wanted to have anything to do with their heritage.
Was there?
Which is why a lot of people in Louisiana don't speak French,
Right.
even though they started off that way.
But
you
was
know.
that widespread across the whole country or just in Acadiana?
Well, I'm not sure.
Me neither.
I'm not that cunning
But-
a linguist.
Well,
So
Yeah,
you could
what's-
say everybody who came over from like Ellis Island, they all changed their names. My
Right.
family
That
did.
wasn't
My
always
family
their
did.
fault though, because sometimes
Yeah.
people on Ellis Island couldn't spell.
I actually
That's
have a
also
story of a friend whose last name is Callahan, but it's spelled with a Ghan.
Yeah.
And she said that her grandfather and his brother came to Ellis Island, and they got into two separate lines. And one of them said his name was Callahan, spelled it the right way, and the other ones tried to spell it to the person checking him in, and he just put H-A-N instead of G-H-A-N. He says, no, there's a G in there. The G is silent. And he says, we don't have silent letters in this country. So there's
Okay.
two parts of the family that have
Different
different
Callahan spellings.
Yeah.
But the thing is, my
That's my
parents
Ellis
were
Island
my parents
story.
were both born in the 20s in New Orleans, and it was very separate. Irish Channel, obviously. My
how was
mother.
their mic technique, your parents?
They didn't have microphones back then.
Okay. I'd like.
Oh, I should put the microphone there.
we go.
So anyway, my mom was Italian and got picked on for wearing her little scarf, and my dad was German and had to pretend he wasn't German because of World War I. And the thing is, New Orleans is the only city I've been in, and I've lived around the country, that has neutral grounds. Because there was the safe space between neighborhoods where you could go do business with the Germans or the Italians or the French, or where you wouldn't get into a fight. And most other cities, those neighborhoods are a lot more unique than they are in New Orleans. The only place that we still have a unique neighborhood by nationality is Vietnam part of East New Orleans. But every other part we've tried to sort of blend in. There's no real Irish Channel where people are just Irish here.
So why do you say New Orleans?
Because I'm not from here. No, I grew up
where did
watching
you-
Sesame Street. That's what it is.
Do you really say New Orleans
I
all the
do.
time?
Yeah, I do all the time.
What is that? What do you say, Moji?
New Orleans.
Right, Billy.
Same, New Orleans.
Right, Sarah.
New Orleans.
Okay, so where are your family from, Sarah?
New
They're
Jersey.
All I'm
So
from
you're
New
outvoted.
Jersey.
You have to go with New Orleans. You have to drop
Yeah.
this whole New Orleans.
New
It's
Orleans.
New
pretty-
Orleans,
it's
so I can
pretty-
rhyme. Because I'm a musician.
The only time they say it.
Yeah,
that
that's right.
way
You're allowed to
is
say
in a
New
song.
Orleans in a song.
Song, exactly.
Where did your parents come from, Sarah?
I like my great grandparents. They all came over from like Europe and Germany and Russia, but I do know that they changed their names on purpose when they came over. It was definitely not an accident.
So they wouldn't seem to be foreigners.
Yeah, because it was super heavy and hard to pronounce. So I remember they changed it when they came over.
What was their original name? Do you know it?
I remember one of them was Hershkovitz,
Hershkovitz.
and like
Okay.
in a very heavier accent, I think, than that.
Hershkovitz.
Yeah,
Hershkovitz.
Hershkovitz.
Isn't
Yeah.
there somebody famous called Hershkovitz? Like a film director or...
Not that I know of.
C-Rock will tell us that in one moment. But now you've just gone with this one, the
Now
single,
they
single
just went
syllable.
with they just went with Hirsch just to
Oh, they're
clean
Hirsch
cut.
now. So
Yeah,
Sarah-
just clean cut.
Sarah Hirsch.
Easier.
Yeah, that's my middle name because it's my
Hirsch
mom's
is-
side. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't tell us your whole name because that will ruin the whole thing. Okay. So, Margie, we're up to Tuesday. No, we're up to Wednesday. every third Wednesday, I think, at the Ace Hotel, right?
No, every third Saturday.
Oh, third Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
So we
I
jumped
take gigs
straight
all over.
We jumped straight from Monday to Saturday. So that's Muevalo, which is Cuban because your nationality or your parents' nationality. Do you call yourself Cuban?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll say I'm Cuban, but then they'll say, "Oh, were you born in Cuba?" And then I'll say, "Well, no, my parents were."
Right.
So you know.
But you still
it's,
call yourself Cuban. Okay. So what about this? What about the African band you're in?
Yes, Fatien Ensemble. It's with. Well, actually, I've got two Afro-Cuban. I've got one Afro-Cuban band. It's called Moyuba. It's with Michael Skinkis and Sula Evans and a few
Michael
other
Skinkis
wonderful
is not
group of
African.
people. No, but he studied in Cuba.
Right.
And so we do a lot of spiritual music.
What's this band
from
called?
Cuba? It's called Moyuba.
Moyuba.
Yeah.
And that's Spanish.
And we do. It's like Afro-Cuban rhythms with.
Right. But what language are you singing in?
We're singing in. It's like a African. Yoruba, from Nigeria.
Oh wow!
And so we sing, chants and it's just beautiful music.
Yeah.
And
cool.
but it's got like Afro-Cuban rhythms with it, and it's.
And so
great.
what about? And then there's another band. There's an African.
Another
a
band
real
with
African
Segun Onkone, who is a real African.
Right.
Indeed. I just got back from the Ivory Coast with him.
Wow.
Oh, it was fabulous. It was so cool. But we're called Fatien, and there's a whole bunch of people in the band, like Sunpai Barnes and
Right.
Dr. Michael White and Mark Stone, and we're going to be. I just found out from Mark that we're going to be doing a show at the Ace sometime in October. I think 21st of October.
And who's booking
If you
all
go
these
to
gigs?
my-
You're not
to-
booking all these ones.
Well, no, but I get calls on occasion because I play well with others, and so I get a lot of calls. And
So
I'm doing a show with Anais St. John in a couple of weeks at the Little
Well, so
Jam.
I'm interested to know what your take on this is. That I get hauled over the coals once in a while for cultural appropriation. Are you familiar with the term
You
cultural?
get called out on it?
Yes. Are you familiar with the term cultural appropriation?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
On Facebook.
Yeah, really. So, what's your response? Because I'm interested to know what your response is to being an American person who was born in Washington D.C. who plays in an African band.
Yeah, well,
Say how do
because we have an African in the band.
Yeah, but you're not African, and you're the singer.
Right. Well, I'm. If we trace back my lineage,
Okay.
I've got a few drops of African in me, so
She's in Paul Simon.
I can pass.
So you're not Paul Simon with the appropriation.
Right.
Gotcha.
But where did this whole conversation about cultural appropriation is pretty new. People
Not
never
really.
used to. It's not
the biggest time it came up, at least in the music world, was Paul Simon. Graceland, which is 86. And
Right.
he hired all those musicians, and he not only took their music, he took the copyright to the music, and they thought that he ripped them off. And that was the first time I ever heard the term as a musician, and also from the legal point of view. How can you take something that's not yours and claim it's yours? And he's
But
not
there's
even
one
part of
thing-
he wasn't even part of their culture.
But it's one thing playing a song; it's another thing suggesting you wrote it and own the copyright to it.
Right. So
That is theft.
that was, but he's Paul Simon. He gets away with that
Really.
because he's
Yeah,
white.
well, I hope he paid them for the sessions at least.
He did, but that's a well-known story. He really, he got in a lot of trouble for that album, especially for how popular it was and how much it brought West African music into the mainstream of the U.S. And then he didn't really give them any credit at all.
Wow. Thomas knows something.
Yeah, it's interesting too because the lead singer of Lady Blacksmith Mambo, the orchestra, the
group that backed
I
him
screwed
up.
up.
Ladies
The group that
Black
backed.
Mombasa, yeah.
Thank you there for the correction. The lead singer of that said that he was indebted to Paul Simon because he was able to reach audiences that he never would have been able to do before. So it skyrocketed his career and his group. But it is like a super convoluted bag. You know, of course, not everyone in the group feels that way.
Well, what's your take on it, though, Margie, as a person who straddles all these different cultures?
Well, I think that if you come in peace, then you should be
Right.
forgiven, for the very least. I mean, because there's, if you're appropriating like some people say you're stealing from it. But if you do it in a way that honors the music that you're playing, like I play, in Pueblo, we play a whole bunch of Celia Cruz and Tito Puente songs. Well, I'm a big fan of both of them. They're no longer alive, so it's up to us to keep their music going.
Right.
And so when I started the band off as a tribute to Celia Cruz, and people were like, "Oh, you're going to dress up in the wigs and everything," and I'm like, "No, it's not that kind of tribute show. It's just I'm just playing her songs because I love them." So in that sense, yeah, I think it's fine. But if you're a white girl wearing cornrows and crediting Bo Derek for causing the, then I think you're.
So how do you draw the line, though?
Well, the thing is that the line is actually drawn by the people that are judging you. It really is.
Well, and how authentically is it done?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
you
Well,
you can make there's plenty of Afrobeat bands that have never listened to a drop of Afrobeat or or this or that. I mean, like for instance, I play with Otra. There's sometimes not a Latin person in that band, but it was the premier Latin band in town for years and years
Right.
and years. But it's because the people studied the music. Michael Skinkis was in it. Sam Price on bass is really deeply involved in that music. So, and we were accepted by all of the Latin crowds and dancers and stuff like that. And I think it's because we actually really made an effort to play that music authentically, study it over years, get it in our ears. It's stuff that, you have to almost get to the point where you grew up with it. You have to immerse yourself that much.
And I have a master's degree in Latin, and I accept it. So
Yeah.
I do
You have
actually,
a master's degree in
Latin and Greek, and I
E
accept this
pluribus.
Latin. Yeah, e
I
pluribus.
think you would know how to talk into a microphone if you have all this education, but
They didn't have microphones.
you have a
back
master's in Latin.
then. Latin, Greek, and Sanskrit.
Does that come in handy often?
No. That's why I'm here.
Latin, Greek,
work?
and Sanskrit.
with a
Enter
thousand
some
songs
spelling
and
bees,
none of
maybe.
them in
It helps with
Sanskrit.
spelling bees,
Yeah.
yes.
Are any of
Yeah.
your songs in Sanskrit?
Exactly. No. Don't have any Sanskrit.
1011
Yeah.
there's
will be
number
in
11.
Sanskrit.
Are you thinking about a song right now?
I do
PH?
have a song right now.
I mean, are you thinking about one
Oh,
that
yeah,
you
the
could
Sanskrit
write
song. Well,
tonight?
it's there.
Let's get Margie and Billy to play something.
Yeah.
And then we'll come
and
to you.
Then
in
be number 1,000.
Okay, that's what number is that? 1,000?
1,000.
Okay. So, Margie, you guys want to play something?
Sure.
Sure. Are we good with the...
Oh, we can move this around. Here, take this.
I'm not going to sing.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, we can just put that one down there. All right.
We're going to do a song from my latest CD, which is called Love Is All. And it's a song called He's Just Not That Into You. And I want to give a little backstory about the song, because I always wanted to write a song called He's Just Not That Into You. And so I asked people on Facebook, because that's where you ask people and get answers sometimes. I said, give me stories on when you realized that he was just not that into you. And I got probably enough stories to record a whole concept album, but I just chose a few for this one particular song.
Okay.
You're sitting by your cell phone, waiting for that ring. It's been 3 weeks, 2 days, 10 minutes. You ain't heard a thing. You don't have to be no CSI for you to get a clue. He shows up at your doorstep about 2 a.m. And in not so quiet desperation, you're gonna let him in. Oh, don't do it. Oh, say, can't you see the red flags waving? Please bid that boy adieu, 'cause he's not that into you, just not that into you. No, no, just not that into you. Get it through your head. Take heed of what I say. I say he's not that into you. No, no, not that into you. Consider it a blessing only if you learn your lesson, baby. Work it with what you got. Move on if that one's not that into you. He breaks up in an email and says, let's be friends. And then he asks you out for sushi just to make amends. And as you pay the bill 'cause he forgot his wallet, he says, hey, your roommate's kinda cute. Say what? And then there's Mr. FedEx in those tight little shorts. You try all kinds of small talk, like politics and sports. And all you wanna do is get your hands on his package. But there ain't much you can do if he's not that into you. Just not that into you, no, no, just not that into you. Girl, don't be a mess. There's always UPS if he is not that into you, no, no, not that into you. You won't make no headway if he keeps asking for your last name, baby. Work it with what you got. Move on if that one's not that into you. Come on, Billy. Maybe he's got him a double life, just not that into you. With 4 small kids and a lovely wife, just not that into you. Maybe you look kinda like his mom, just not that into you. Well, now you know why he don't last too long, just not that into you. There could be a million whys, just not that into you. Better that than a million lies, just not that into you. Maybe he's got issues too, just not that into you. Believe me when I tell you that he's not that into you. Yeah, get it through your head. Listen to what I say he's not that into you. No, just not that into you. Consider it a blessing only if you learn your lesson, baby. Pick up your self-esteem. Remember that you're a queen. Make like it's an etch-a-sketch and shake, shake, shake it clean. Oh, baby girl, it's okay. Your heart will live to see another day.
Yeah. Margie Perez and Billy Franklin. Very nice. And nice guitar playing too.
Yeah.
Billy. Very nice indeed. Margie, that's a funny song.
Thank you.
That's up there with the PH Fred level. That is
Yes,
great. So all those things happen to somebody or other, not necessarily to you.
Right. Yeah, I think maybe one in there, but
Which one? Broke up in an
the
email?
the FedEx guy. Yeah.
FedEx guy. You're there's always UPS.
Yeah.
That is a funny song. Good job. And where can we steal that from? What album is it on?
It's called Love Is All.
Love Is All. And we
Yep,
can steal
it's
that on
available.
Spotify and all the various
Yep,
stuff.
Spotify, iTunes, Louisiana Music
Right.
Factory, all the above.
Okay, all right. And while you were singing that, your neighbor showed up. Sharice Harrison Nelson is here. Sharice, come on in.
Hey, Sharice.
Good to see you.
Okay.
What happened to you? You're late.
Well, I know. I got a message, and I guess it wasn't from you all that the time was changing. I locked it in my phone. I said, "Oh, I have an extra hour."
Who sent you a message
I
that
don't
the
know.
time
I
has
have to
changed?
check it out. But
someone's
I
trying to
had something
sabotage
that,
us.
Yes. Well, I think it's just another event. But you know, there's a saying: "A queen is never late." You all are simply early.
Oh, okay. Can we get you a drink or something? What would you like? You can have anything you want at the bar.
Something fruity. Well, no.
Fruity?
No,
Sarah can get you a-
pineapple, whatever, but just like this much alcohol.
Pineapple,
1/4.
something with pineapple. Sarah, thank you for sitting in for Sharice. This was Sarah Hirsch.
Thank you, Sarah.
That's her middle name.
So I
Okay.
apologize because I was looking for checks, looking for a checkbook.
You
You're
were
not late.
looking
We
f-
early.
That's right. I'm not late.
You were looking for a checkbook. Did you find it?
I did not,
Oh dear.
but I'll find it. We have a gig tomorrow, so I need the checkbook.
What are you
to write
doing tomorrow?
I don't actually know. I think it's
Okay,
the
well, I'm
Chamber
sorry.
of Commerce. We're going to meet some of their conference attendees at Gallier Hall.
Well, that sounds official,
It does.
doesn't it? Okay.
It does.
Hey, this is PH Fred, by the way, in case you're wondering who
Hi.
this guy was.
Hi.
And you obviously know Margie, your neighbor, and Billy
Hi.
Franklin. So, what do you call yourself here? How do I introduce you? Are you the curator of the Mardi Gras Indian Hall of Fame? Is that your main gig?
Well, that was my main gig. We actually sunset the Mardi Gras Indian Hall of Fame
It's all over.
in August, and we
cross that
rebranded.
out.
We rebranded as UNOLA, Uniquely New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh, that's your
So
new
that we can
thing.
expand our scope. Well, our scope was already expanded. So we're kind of calling it what it already was.
So you're leaving the Mardi Gras Indians behind now?
No, I'm not.
You're-
They're going to come, but we've always honored people from other, from musicians, civil rights activists. So we're just
Okay.
going to. UNOLA encompasses what we're already doing.
Who came up with the word UNOLA?
I came up with it after
Very
a
good.
lot of thought for maybe 6 months, because at first I was going to be ACE, activism, culture, and education.
That's
Then it
good
was going to
too.
be A to the third power, art,
Okay.
activism, and advocacy. And then one day, UNOLA came to me.
How did it come to you?
It just came. It just popped. Literally, just popped in my head.
Were you smoking weed at the time?
No,
or
it wasn't.
Drinking,
If anything, I would have been eating cake or a donut.
Okay.
Those are my devices.
I like those too. What sort of
With
cake?
a cup of coffee, maybe.
What sort of cake do you like?
I like chantilly cake.
Yes, nice.
And I like coconut cake.
Coconut cake. Do you
And-
make it?
No, I don't do it.
Where do you get them from?
People love me. In my
Bring your
the co-founder of the Mardi Gras Indian
What?
Hall of Fame she started making pear cake for me. I had pear cake when I was recovering from surgery in France.
PEAR.
And it's like an upside down cake, but it's
Yeah.
it's about that big. It's not that high, and it has pears with crunchy brown sugar and butter on the
This
bottom.
sounds great. I was just talking about pear-flavored vaping actually before
Yeah, it's really good.
earlier today.
And so I have to cut
What's
it in
that
little bitty
called?
pieces and put it in the freezer. So I make maybe 30 little pieces, and I treat myself to a little tiny square every day.
Wow, you've got some willpower to just eat one. You don't.
I
think
want to
you've-
make it last.
Yeah, but-
and I eat it on a really special little plate with a really special little fork, so I can just take little tiny bites
Oh,
and
how
savor.
delicate! And what's the name? What's the name of the actual dish? Pear-
It's Queen Reese
Queen-
pear cake by Dr. Roz.
Okay,
A long old name. I don't
you-
know the recipe.
Queen Reese is your name. You go
Yes,
by Queen Reese.
yes.
Okay, so she makes it specially for you.
Yes.
You didn't bring us none?
She didn't make me.
Well,
any.
you're not going to share it with other people because then your whole system will be fucked up. You.
Well, when she makes it, I have to share with my mom and my sisters.
Okay.
I try to cut her a slice, but if I don't cut her a slice, she will cut her own slice.
I like the sound of that.
Right, I have a gift for
He-
you.
Here we
Thank
go.
you.
Here's a special drink from Sarah.
Not too
Thank
much
you,
alcohol,
Sarah.
right?
No, I told her not too much.
Okay.
We can always send it back if there's too much alcohol in it. Okay, so the UNOLA. So where is UNOLA? Is there an actual?
Well, UNOLA is kind of housed in my heart, first of all,
Okay.
and then at the Donald Harrison Senior Museum, but we don't have an actual space yet.
Okay. So, what do you need? You need a space. Are you looking for a building or
Yeah, a free one.
a free building? Well, what about the Donald Harrison Senior Museum that you're running as well?
Well,
over
I don't
there?
run that. It's actually my mother's
Oh, okay.
museum, but I do help a lot with that. I'm the education outreach coordinator, and
Well, who paid for that building? 'Cause that's
Tulane
gorgeous.
School of no, it was the Tulane
Yeah.
City Center
Okay.
through a grant from Johnson Control. think it's Johnson's
Johnson
Controls.
Controls. They're the people who make
And-
the traffic lights or something.
Yeah, and so they donated the money to Tulane, and Tulane built the building. It's a tiny
okay.
building, but it
It's super
makes a
cool.
large impact in
Yeah.
the community.
It's beautiful.
And we're
building.
getting
you
ready to
guys
have
seen
something
that?
very exciting going on there. The Congo Kids drumming pilot program for 4 weeks. I'm so excited.
Congo Kids.
Yes.
Okay. When is that going to happen?
It starts on September 22nd, and we start with Andrew Wiseman from Ghana, and then we're going to have Wendy O'Neill, who does this. She does community sing. Her father is John O'Neill, so she comes out of a real civil rights activist background, and her singing is very percussive. She slaps. Her father was a hand bone specialist. He taught my third graders to do hand bone, and they would hand bone their spelling words, their math. Oh my God!
What is that exactly?
You don't know hand bone?
No.
I can't.
C-Rock knows it. Hey, you want to put these on?
Oh, okay.
These headphones? You just,
Okay. And
Hey,
see, I'm a
look, you
teacher.
brought
I
us
always
books.
come with my.
Put us some books as well. Okay.
Well,
you can
I
put them
brought
on if
one
you
book,
want to.
But I always
Teacher
come with
come with
show and
alcohol.
tell.
Isn't
Okay,
ham bone like the basis for the Bo Diddley beat?
Yeah, it's you do this some kind of way. I know it's the back of your hand slap and then up. I can't really.
You don't know how to do it either.
No, but
Margie, you familiar with the ham bone situation?
I've seen it.
it's a song. Hand bone, hand bone. Have you seen? I don't know the rest.
The Mockingbird song, same thing.
I think
It's
so.
gonna buy me a Mockingbird, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bo
really?
Diddley beat, yes.
Can you do that? See, there's not one. Hey, so, Sharice, look here. I've got a list of 1,000 songs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you.
P.H. Fred wrote all these songs. He wrote
Well, I'm
1,000
gonna tell you,
songs.
I'm biased. I'll look at your list.
Yeah.
But if
You don't have to look at it.
"Shallow Water" by Donald Harrison Sr. isn't on it,
I wrote these songs.
No,
I
he
didn't-
wrote.
I
he
didn't
wrote
write
all
them.
this.
Oh, okay.
Pick
So
number
just
1,000.
pick a number. Pick any
number
number
1,000,
between
that's
one
the
and
song I'm prepared to pick.
I'm going to pick 81. That's my
So we're
mom's
gonna do
age.
number 1,000.
Your mom is 81.
Your
Yes.
mom is 81.
What date's her birthday?
March 16th.
Okay, that's lucky. Number 81 is a song called "You're Not Seriously Planning to Write 1,000 Songs in a Year." That's actually the name of the song.
That is the name of the song.
you
So
remember-
which brings us automatically to number
So number 1,000. Okay,
I talked to her
let's
earlier
make
today.
P.H. Fred play song number 1,000. What's it called?
This is called "Remember the Last Ones for Me." That's the 1,000th song. is
Okay.
"Remember the Last Ones for Me."
Okay.
And actually, since we live in crappy times now, and like you don't know what's going to go on, we have a clown for president and things like that. And I went and I found people's famous last words, and I turned it into a song about it's like the last day on earth, and what are you thinking? And the first quote is by this guy who was on death row, and they executed him, and he was upset that they gave him his last meal of spaghetti, and he had told them he wanted SpaghettiOs, and that's where we start. We'll go from there. Well, you gave me spaghetti, wanted SpaghettiOs. Remember the last ones for me. You know I can't forget wherever I go. Remember the last ones for me. A clown could get away with murder. Remember the last ones for me. He told us he could never hurt her. Remember the last ones for me. Good people sure think that they're right. Remember the last ones for me. You know every bad day has a good night. Remember the last ones for me. You know I should eat out more often. Remember the last ones for me. I like children, think they're tasty. Remember the last ones for me. Let the firing squad shoot me today. Remember the last ones for me. Take a step forward, it's easier that way. Remember the last ones for me. I have something to say, but I won't say it now. Remember the last ones for me. Thanks for the singing, Margie.
Okay. Fred, I don't think I don't think that's one of your greatest songs.
I don't think it is.
No,
either.
I don't.
I was up to
think
1,000.
That's not all that good. That song. I mean, it's good. It's okay. What do you think,
thank
Margie?
you.
Seriously, as a professional songwriter.
It was catchy towards the end. She was singing. It's
tells
always
Yeah,
the
it's
story.
got you singing along with it, but
Yeah, you know.
you've written much better
all
songs.
about
I've
than
written
that.
better songs.
Yeah,
I know that.
yeah.
Pies
Isn't
were
there
That's the
better
last
something?
one.
Can't
Of
you
a
redeem
series.
yourself with something better off this list? Even just a verse and a
songs. A
chorus
verse and a chorus.
of maybe like.
I mean, I have a song for you.
Okay, all right. You don't have to do the whole thing.
Not
just,
the whole thing.
Just
A
something
verse and a chorus to
put the-
redeem yourself.
Yes, just so we get the taste of that song out of our mouths.
I like the verse. It's a wonderful verse. The first
It's a good
American.
idea. It's a good idea.
The first American serial killer, when they arrested him, he goes, "I like children. They taste good."
I thought the idea was
that's a
good. I
wonderful
just don't think it's not finished.
It's not executed yet.
Right, it's not-
Pardon the pun. It's not executed
Yeah.
yet. Well, I knew a girl named Gravity. She makes the world go round. Knew a girl named Gravity. Her feet don't touch the ground. Like an apple in the tree. All the boys, they fall for gravity. Gravity.
What do you think? That's slightly
A little bit
better.
better.
Yeah, it's a little bit
That was
more.
uplifting.
It was
Yeah.
uplifting.
Yeah.
You can call her at Avogadro's number.
Now, what is this on your website? Also, I saw that something said the
What's that?
Devil's Avocado or something.
That was a record.
That was
came
a
out.
record.
That was. I had 36 records come out this year. If you write 1,000 songs, you got to put out 36 records.
Wow.
You've
I don't
had-
sleep.
Is that true?
It's true. I don't sleep.
You really don't sleep.
I really
Seriously.
don't sleep.
What do you do? So you write songs all night?
I write songs all. I stare at the ceiling.
Do you have like a medical condition where you can't sleep?
It's called crazy.
Insomnia.
No, actually, when I'm not sleeping, I'm teaching. So I teach and I sleep and I sleep and I teach. And actually, I can help you with your place. I can get you free
Sure
teachers
is.
and free space.
Free what?
Okay.
Free teachers and free space.
Oh, really?
And I've made this offer every show I've been on.
Yeah.
I will offer any school in the city of New Orleans, whether it's your school or a public school or whatever. I will go there for a year and teach test prep for free. And none of the charter schools took me up on it. None of the public schools took me up on it. The thing is, all the standardized stuff is just it's fixed. It's focused against certain minorities and certain groups that can't afford calculators and tutors. And if I can teach the rich kid with a calculator to how to do it not with a calculator, I can teach a poor person who can't afford a calculator how to do it. I take a kid who can make a 20 get into Delgado and bring them up to a 30 where they're getting money to go to college.
Wow.
I've been teaching, all joking aside, I've been teaching since I was 13. There's a tattoo.
Okay.
I've been teaching since I was 13. I've been doing this 41 years.
I can beat you. I've been teaching since I was 6.
How old are you?
Billy, how long have you been teaching? Say 4,
Forever.
since you were 4.
Since you were a fetus.
Since I was 16.
16, okay.
But the point is, I keep escaping the
Right.
teaching thing, and I keep getting sucked back into it. And before I croak, I want to pass on the last bunch of
what
gifts
what
I
do
have.
you teach, Cherise?
I teach at Moulton. Well, I teach all the time. All of our performances are educational, but I actually have a real teaching job at Moulton. I only have one student, and I'm going to get a class load of students at Fanny C, but I teach gifted resource, so I pull them for 1 hour.
You only have one student,
Yeah,
so it's like one-on-one education.
is.
That's pretty impressive. And what do you actually teach? What subject?
It's more critical thinking, problem
Right.
solving,
So it's like-
project-based, thematic units. We're getting ready to do a unit on butterflies, but the school gave us a butterfly garden, and she wants a spider garden. So we'll see how that goes.
How does this kid get to be your student? How do you?
They go through
Qualify.
a series of assessments. The teacher recommends them, and then they're assessed. And then someone comes in and they write an individual education plan. And then I get called to provide what's on the plan.
Wow.
But it's a lot of freedom, and the children do most of the work. If you want to do it, you need to tell me how we can do this. I don't get the answers for them. I don't figure it out for them. I'm more of a facilitator. They have to figure it out themselves.
Is the student one who stands out and is exceptional, or is it one who could, with the right education, be exceptional?
Well, I think all children are exceptional. But test, as he just said, they don't assess everything. They don't, it's test assess a very narrow scope of attributes. So, everyone's gifted in their own way.
Right.
But what was your question again? Because I've had like one.
I had a couple
I just
drinks
wanted
now,
to
a
know,
couple
like,
sips of that drink.
if this was like a standout kid or one who just needed a little encouragement.
Gifted
to be
kids and
stand-
bright kids, the ones that can memorize the multiplication tables in 2 days. Gifted child is going to try to figure out another system, a scheme of doing things. They break things down and they rebuild them. They take what they already know to create something new or a better system. And that's kind of how you can tell bright children from gifted children. But we're all gifted in something.
Hang on, what's
we're
the
all
difference?
gifted in something.
Bright and gifted is not the same thing.
No.
I thought that was a synonym.
No, gifted that's the child that you would give, like the chart, as an example, the bus schedule.
Okay.
And there's the one that will memorize. He'll be able to tell you the bus will be on Franklin at, 10:10, whatever. The gifted child will take that chart and make a new chart and give you other information, make it more efficient. So it's
Okay.
Probably
So-
figure out the time intervals,
Right,
Yeah, like
right,
it comes
right,
every hour,
right,
comes
right.
every
The
30
regular
minutes.
kid colors in the lines.
Right.
The bright kid colors outside the lines. The gifted kid makes his own paper.
That's right.
That's the way I always
That's right.
Okay. So, PH Fred, who are you teaching? What are your kids?
I do everything from test prep for GED through the LSAT, mainly ACT, because there's just that big gap of kids going to college that either shouldn't be going to college or can't afford to go to college, because the American dream, it tells you have to go to college, which is a bunch of bullshit. Because they're setting people up to be in debt. That's just the way the system works nowadays. And so I'm trying to get people, if they want to go to college, they're going to go to college, and you're not going to be stuck there for 20 years, and you're not going to be stuck there with $250,000 of debt.
Who
That's
is setting us up to be in debt? Who's the
just the way the system's been made in the past. Schools went from being education to being a business. It's kind of like the prison system. It's a business now.
okay?
In healthcare, it's all about
So
business.
you're prepared
yes.
to teach these kids for free.
I've taught kids for free. If I have a school that is worthy, and all schools are worthy, I've never turned down a kid who couldn't afford to pay me.
Okay.
I've never turned down a kid who couldn't afford to pay me.
And you're making $100,000 a year.
And I'm still making good money. Because I find the rich kids and I charge them a buttload of money. The kid who comes to tutoring at a Jaguar, I charge them a buttload of money. And some of them are eating in this. I don't know where any of those kids are.
So you're a special tutor. You're not a school teacher. You're
I'm
tutoring
an
kids
educational
out-
consultant. You
Right.
get paid higher if you call it that.
Yeah, that's what I am too, because of the charter school system.
Yeah.
Are you getting paid a whole lot of money? Sure.
I get paid more than I would if I was hired by the school full time.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it's not like I won't make $100,000 a year, but
I don't make anything according to the IRS.
Well, that's good.
but it's
That's why I don't talk on a microphone.
right. But
So-
you get paid by the hour instead of
So-
by the.
All your kids are paying you cash under the table? Is that
No,
what
no,
you're saying?
no, no.
Nobody is paying you.
Shh, nobody's paying me. I'm not even here.
You're not making
It's
any
invisible.
Okay.
Invisibility
Okay.
cloth from Harry Potter.
Exactly.
All right. So you're actually a Mardi Gras. Are you like a big chief in the Mardi Gras?
Not a big chief.
What are you called?
I actually call myself a maroon queen.
Maroon Queen.
So
You're
beca-
wearing maroon.
because the tradition is about resistance. And I honor my ancestors who self-emancipated themselves. Native Americans did assimilate some people in, but people already had it within them not to want to be enslaved. And many of them lived in the swamps and the perimeters of the plantations, and they lived separate apart in what we would consider horrid situations. And I honor their spirit of not bowing down. And in that same vein, I don't say that I mask Indian. I say, well, first of all, we're maroons, and that on Carnival Day, that I bestow upon those waiting to see my nakedness. Because if I create the ritual attire that is associated with our tradition, and for me, I'm a narrative beater, so if I create narrative bead work based on a historical data, information, or on my personal history. For instance, I made a suit about my great-great-grandfather. His name was Madison. He was stolen from Virginia and brought here at the age of 11 in 1820. So I made a suit in honor of him. How can I mask as Madison's great-great-granddaughter? I am his great-great-granddaughter. So I have taken his story and brought it forth. And so now what I have in my soul is brought forth and I bear my authentic self to you, so I'm actually naked.
On, you talking about Mardi Gras Day?
Yes.
Or just on Mardi Gras Day?
Well, anytime I wear
Anytime
the
you
suit.
wear the suit, right.
But I try, it's always a dream. I wanted to have this thing where I only wore the suit for carnival, funerals, and St. Joseph's Day, and I would make another suit for gigs. I did it 1 year, but I haven't been able to do it since then. But that is the dream.
We're talking about a suit. You're talking about a whole Mardi Gras Indians, the whole thing with the feathers and the beads.
Yeah, but I just don't call myself an Indian. I call myself a Maroon.
Well, what is a maroon technically compared to
A Maroon is a person who self-emancipated themselves.
okay.
So it's a state of being
Wow.
free.
And is that's a term? That's a whole
yes.
genre
It
class
comes
of
from
people?
Cimarronians. It's a Spanish word.
I never ever heard that.
Look
no.
it up. And so
Look it up.
I embrace that as a way of life, being a Maroon.
Okay. Fred, you have a PhD in something or other, or
No,
a master's
degree, Latin, Greek,
in Latin.
Sanskrit, yeah.
Have you ever heard of Cimarron?
No, it's not my language. But I believe the lady.
I
I'm not questioning
totally
her.
believe it, but I just want interested. Have you ever heard of that, Margie?
I have, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
My great-great-grandfather was also called, some people say Griff or Greek. We have a copy of his bill of sale, and it says that, and my mother was like Agatha Christie, like deciphering every single word, that he was a yellow complexion Griff or Greek. And so when I made my suit, I tried to put what I thought that complexion, if you would say yellow. But it's very interesting because he was sold 3 times. Money exchanged hands for him within a period of 6 weeks that I know of.
It's like flipping. It's like house flipping with people.
And that's exactly what I saw. And he came to me in dreams before I knew his story. We had his name, but we didn't know his story. And when the Genealogy Roadshow came to town, they sought us out because we're like Mardi Gras Indians, right? Part of the visual presentation of New Orleans. And so when I found his story out, he had been coming to me because I have a one-woman show, you know my play. And I added a song to it and people would cry. The song I added in the beginning, I don't know why, we were in St. John the Baptist Parish and I did my show at the river and I added, sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Don't know why I added it. So I kept singing the song, people would cry, and I'm not a singer. And I did it for a group of chiefs from Cameroon, and they sang with me. And when they sang with me, it brought up something so deep in my soul that I had to stop the show that time, and I was crying. But when my grandfather was brought here from Virginia, that's the parish he went to before he was sold to Samuel Cone and brought here to New Orleans. And Samuel Cone was one of the first Jewish millionaires in the city, and he established the city of Carrollton with John Slidell, who Slidell is named for.
Wow. So I never heard of anybody actually tracing a bill of sale from their family before.
Well, they
Is
gave
that-
it to us. But people can do it now. There's a database by Dr. Gwendolyn Midlow Holmes, and you can actually go in and trace a lot of information from that database. Not everything is not there, but a lot is there.
What's your feeling about reparations?
It's a difficult one because, where's the money going to come from? I think we all
Well,
should.
we've got plenty of it. The government
Well,
has a lot
yeah,
of it.
but do you really think they're going to give it to us?
Well,
I think it would be.
What do you think? What's
They took $10 million away from
What do you think
FEMA,
about something like
Yeah, but I
like
think they
free
should-
education?
I think
Something
Yeah.
like
Well,
that.
that would be-
Well, I think some cash would be nice,
Mm-hmm.
and we basically have free education, but free education and good education are two different
Yeah,
things.
for sure. No, I mean just to any university.
Oh, university,
Yeah,
yes.
like
You mean
anyone, not
as
just
a-
public.
As a reparations? That's
And
interesting.
I think people, some people wouldn't want to go, but I think it's very important for people to go back to where you came from, because unfortunately, in textbooks, the textbooks that I was taught from, our history begins when we get to the Americas, and our history predates that. And going back to West Africa, although I had very progressive parents, was life-changing for me.
Right.
It just reinforced my feet. I always say my feet were shackled. I just talked about this with Dr. Seck. who did the Whitney Plantation. He's the historian for the Whitney Plantation. My feet were shackled, but I didn't know they were shackled. It wasn't until I went to West Africa and I heard the drums that I realized that my feet were shackled because the shackles fell.
Right.
And I never danced. People won't believe this as a younger person, and I still am shy. I was very shy. I never danced. But when I got there, and I know it's not correct to use a double negative to make my point, I couldn't not dance. Something deep in my soul compelled me to dance. And there's a tradition, so I danced. And when I danced those shackles off of my feet. The people at the party kept coming up and putting money on me. That meant I was doing a good job. It's part of their culture. So they give you money. So afterwards, I had all this money. I was like, wow. But I didn't want to pick it up because I'm from America. You know, the money was falling on the ground. It's like, what you do with that? It's like, that's for you. That's for you. It was so wonderful. I stood in the door of no return on Goree Island.
You know, I lived there.
And
I grew up on Goree.
Oh, okay.
And my Dr. Seck's a friend of my family.
Oh, yeah. He's a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
So you know that door. So when I stood in that door, I felt my ancestors going around me. I really, truly felt this. And they were speaking in a language I couldn't understand. When I came out, before I came out, I felt like something leave out of my body and literally went shh, and something came back in. Shh. And when I left out, you know that ledge? I was standing there. My friend took a picture. My skin, I'm literally gray. And I knew that the ancestors had embraced me for making the journey home, and that they were giving me my charge for life. I really believe that in my soul and in my spirit.
That island has a lot of energy. It has a lot.
It really does. It really does.
When I went into the Whitney Plantation and I looked to the right and I saw the giant photo of that staircase from his other museum, I almost passed out because I didn't know Dr. Seck had done helped with Whitney too.
Oh yeah, and he's from Senegal.
Hey, listen, you guys, we have to get out of here.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's
but
okay.
We do actually have to leave.
I suffer from third grade teacheritis. I have the need for you to understand what I'm talking about, so sometimes I over-explain.
No, it's very interesting.
That's a great story.
Let's do it again. Well, hopefully you'll get the right message next time. And we'll have the whole hour. That would be good to do that. Let me just tell you before we get out of here who brought us today's show, just so I can say I've done that. Today's show has been brought to us by Strategic Resumes. If you want to sharpen up your resume, your LinkedIn profile, or other job search skills, check out Strategic Resumes. If you want to get away, start your travel search at Travel Central in Metairie. Thank you to Basic Swim and Gym. We can get a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with style there right next to the lingerie store, Basics underneath on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. Thank you to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. You can go to hdestroyer.com and you get 30% off of your first order of Hangover Destroyer by writing Happy Hour in the coupon code. And thank you to the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who create and encourage community through the development and preservation of arts, music, culture, and heritage. And thank you to our Patreon family. If you'd like to join our Patreon family, go to patreon.com and look for It's New Orleans Happy Hour. And for as little as $1 a month, you can be a part of our Patreon family as well. Andrew Duhon is not here this week, but you can find his record False River on Spotify and everywhere else you steal music from. You can even buy it. And that's been Happy Hour for another week. Charisse Harrison Nelson, thank you so much for coming.
You're quite welcome.
And I hope next time someone doesn't hack you and
Well,
send you a
I think
message.
it was just another event, and I guess I chose this
You're
event and not that
confused.
one.
Well, good. I wonder
And,
who that one. I wonder who's cursing you for not showing up.
Well, they'll get over it.
You're right. And PH Fred's been here with song 1001.
Yes.
Nice to see you again. We'll see you
It's
again
nice to be
in
seen.
6 months, and maybe next time you'll figure
I'm
out how
not
to
dead.
talk into a microphone. Margie Perez and Billy Franklin have been here as well too. Thank you guys. Now, so we go to margieperez.com
Yes.
to find out more about you. And Billy, you're just in Margie's band, or you're doing other stuff as well? You want to tell us?
Play
about?
with a few different bands, Smoking Bones, Otra, Margie, and a bunch of other people. But I'll be around.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll have links to
You
all
go
this.
somewhere, you'll see me eventually.
Just look for Billy
Yeah.
Franklin. Well, thank you guys for coming along, everybody. That's been Happy Hour for another week. The producer of our show is Graham DePonte. Our music producers are Christian Unruh and Monique Pyle. Thomas Walsh is our technical director. Asher Griffith is the Facebook Live director who put this whole thing on Facebook Live right now. Andrew C. Rock is our fact checker and social media connector. And our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can stay upright, for about an hour while drinking alcohol, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com. We can also find many other shows we've made previous to this one called Happy Hour, as well as some other shows we make here called Out to Lunch with Peter Rashidi live from Commander's Palace, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tucker, and our award-winning podcast about death, which is called Death the Podcast. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at it'sacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well. And all of it we called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our It's New Orleans Facebook page. These photos were taken today by Jill LaFleur. You can find more of Jill's photos at lafleurphoto.com. If you listen to this on your favorite podcast app, thanks for subscribing to us. Take a moment if you've got one to rate and review us. That helps other people find us. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfair on Ferret Street in Uptown New Orleans. Happy Hours, a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For Andrew Duhon, everyone else around the table here at Wayfair, back at our office at INO Broadcasting, thank you much for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. We'll see you back here next week for more Happy Hour.
Hear that? That's the sweet sound of Minute Maid slushies at McDonald's, turning up your summer with every sip, slurp, and ah.
Get a small sweet peach, blue raspberry, or fruit punch slushie for just $2. Or get any size soft drink for $1. Price and participation may vary. Limited time only. Cannot be combined with combo meal.